What is up? Good morning, y'all. Welcome. And let's begin with the breathwork tool, the apex breathing. So sitting down in an upright and comfortable position, your spine straight, eyes closed, releasing all of your oxygen out through your nose and in through your nose. Out through your nose and in through your nose. Out through your nose and in through your nose. Out through your nose and in through your nose. Out through your nose, in through your nose. Out through your mouth, in through your nose. Hold the breath at the top. And out through your nose. In through your nose. And out through your nose. Hold the breath at the bottom. Fully in through your nose. At the top of the breath, take a little more air in and hold. Out through your nose and in through your nose. Out through your nose. And at the bottom of the breath, release 3 exhales. And in through your nose. Hold the breath at the top. And out through your nose. In through your nose. And out through your nose. In through your nose. And out through your nose. In through your nose. At the top of the breath, taking a little more air in and holding at the top. And out through your nose. In through your nose. And returning to your natural state of breathing. Allow your body to do any types of stretches or self-massage. Any type of movement. Readjustments that it deems necessary. Keeping the eyes closed or blinking the eyes open and taking account of your surroundings. And good morning, or good whatever time of the day you're watching this. Thank you for tuning in. Really appreciate it. I really think of this as whatever it may be, whatever the number of people that are watching, it is really irrelevant. Um, this is something that's very good for me. And also, I know personally all the people watching, so it means a lot more than if it was just people that I don't know. Another way to think of it is, what if we were all in a room together, right? What if I was giving a presentation, which I am, but what if I was presenting this in front of you live, right? That would be a very different dynamic. If it was 12 people, if it was 2,000 people, if it was 4,000 people, that would be, no matter what, it would be something exciting. It would be something where there's a lot of social feedback, whether that be the look on people's faces, the movements, the mannerisms, the laughter, lots of instantaneous social feedback. So right now I don't have that. And that's actually a negative, which I shall turn into a positive. I've been dealing with it in a positive manner, where it's a lot harder to do this without any type of feedback. So that's again why I ask, put something in the comments, reach out to me personally, tell me anything that you've incorporated, tell me anything you'd like to hear me talk about, anything you thought was interesting that I touched on that I can get deeper on. And that engagement would be awesome. So thank you in advance. So let's see. Today I'm going to go over more of the electric plan. Still haven't finished going over that yet. I'm going to go over my recent day trading, my newest acquisition of getting back into Amazon, my goal and thought process around that. I'm gonna, yesterday I did not do a podcast. I've decided every Sunday I'm not gonna do a podcast, I think. Definitely for the most part. I really like the idea of holding at least one day completely sacred. As much as I like doing this, I think that a day off the laptop for sure, like just straight day off the laptop, because I do a lot of things on the laptop throughout the day. And really made peace with that. Really was against the technology. I find it exhausting. My eyes just are fried. So you will see me look away and not, be staring at this screen for as much as possible. But yeah, I think, one day of where you really, if you have the ability to, where you really try and take it to yourself, you really recharge, right? All the things I talk about, I really don't share them often. Definitely didn't use social media or any type of platform to talk about them, because I think that it's, something that's been sacred to me, something that is private, in a way that these are things that have built me into the person that I am, and I don't feel a need to really share that. But at the same time, I feel like this is a lot of really helpful, useful information. I can convey it in a very unscientific manner. I can convey it. I can speak to different people at different levels, right? Where I could talk to a neuroscientist about something, right? My mentor is a neuroscientist. Or I can talk to, I had many clinical psychologist mentors. I could talk to them at that level. Or I could talk to somebody who is just an adult who doesn't really know anything about this, or is into health and wellness, fitness, or a little kid trying to explain to a little kid. That's, I think, real knowledge is, if you have a bunch of knowledge and you don't act on it, right? Knowledge is power, knowledge is not power. If you don't act on your knowledge, then it's essentially useless. It's just a thought experiment. If you can't explain what you know to a child, then that is really a reflection of your lack of understanding within what it is that you know inside yourself, right? If you can't convey it in its simplest form, if you can only talk, if a neuroscientist can only talk to other neuroscientists, right, then it's a it's a lack of awareness, right? Like the Bible used to only be in Latin, right? So and people didn't know how to read in general. So only the the highest up in that religion were able to read the Bible. So it was all up into their interpretation. So there was no individual interpretation or no individual participation. What good is that? You're not reaching the masses by, putting your own spin on the word. You want people to be able to integrate these things firsthand into their own life, right? That's really like, you can learn by watching, right? You can learn by listening, but until you actually do it yourself, it's just a thought experiment. So gives you a little bit of insight as to why I'm doing this, also explaining it to myself right now. So again, yesterday, talk about turning nothing into something. Yesterday I had a baseball game, or so I thought. Showed up over in Compton, Jackie Robinson Stadium. Was getting warmed up. Game got canceled because the other team allegedly has quit the season. They're done playing. So, more softness out in the world. But whatever, I was already there. I don't want to, waste my time. So immediately I was like, how can I make this productive, right? The game was already kind of delayed, waiting for people to show up. So I got a workout in, and listening to my music on my boombox. I can't really blast my boombox at home, living in an apartment. I've done it. It's a little rude. Gotten some complaints. So I'm pretty considerate about not doing that. So it's nice when I'm able to bring it out into a field somewhere and blast my music. I really enjoy that. So doing that, having a good time, getting a sweat in, getting a workout in. I hijacked our manager and had him hit me fly ball. So I got a great workout in, and already made it productive. I had my girlfriend with me, so we had a nice time where, I was just throwing her the ball and she's getting her hits, hitting line drives back at me from, fucking 15 feet away. And which is cool. I'm glad she's able to do that. For some reason I'm not afraid, but you know what? She's hitting legitimate line drives right at my ankles. So that was fun. And then I hit her some not fly balls, line drives, well over her head in the outfield. And she's actually really good. She's actually a really good outfielder, which makes no sense. She's just a very good athlete. But she can actually read the ball and catch the ball, unlike lots of adult men. But this time she wasn't catching up to these balls, so we stopped that very quickly. And then I went over to shortstop and had her just stand on the mound and hit the ball to me. And she was hitting some rockets. She burned me a couple times, and also hit balls into the left center field gap. So that was fun, and it was a nice little workout. And then I decided to get some sprints in. Had the bases out there. Nobody's using them for a couple hours, so got some running in. That was fun. I love running the bases in real games, but I also love just running the bases on my own. I've got a good imagination, so it is an ally to me in that type of situation. But I think it's really fun. Running in a straight line can only really be so much fun, but when you're cutting bases, it's a lot more fun. So I'm going to upload some video of that, and really I was just running 75, 80%. And the thing about that is when you run 75, 80%, you really are a lot closer to 100% than you think, because when you try and run 100%, a lot of times you end up tensing up, and tense muscles are slow muscles, right? It's scientifically proven your reaction time is a lot lower when you're tense. So a lot of times, especially me, especially in my past, I'm a football player, so I got mouthpiece in. I like to try and run as hard as I can. I enjoy that feeling of, all my muscles tensed up and trying as hard as I can. But that slows you down. So it also leads to injuries, which I've had plenty of. So I've really learned to try and run more like a sprinter, relax my jaw, relax my my whole body, right? Trying to run as loose as possible, and not trying to run as fast as possible, right? The for the benefit of risk prevention, injury prevention, but also there was a time, a couple months, where I was sprinting every day, right? Like 75, 80%. Maybe once in a session, like a 40-minute session, I would run once or twice as, kind of near as hard as I could. But really not, because I can do something where I can really raise my knees high and unlock my hips and take huge strides and run as hard as I can. And when I'm just running on my own, I'm never doing that. And I've kind of really stopped doing that because that led to a lot of soreness and kind of just exhausted muscles. And when you push exhausted muscles, that's when you get hurt. So yeah, I just stayed at 75, 80%. Um, my girlfriend filmed it, so that was nice. It was fun watching it back. It's interesting. It's like obviously I was already gassed, so I feel like I look very slow. I feel like I was running underwater. I felt like I was running underwater, and it was really more so just a workout, more so just pushing myself. I hadn't run in a little while. I had a little injury I was getting over, and so making something into nothing. I left there with a way better workout than if we had a game. So as much as I want to play in the game, hey, it's out of my control, right? That's another thing that has been on the forefront of my mind. Something I talked about, the law of detachment. The law of detachment, being passionately engaged and detached from the outcome, right? So something I have been writing every day for a while is first thing I put down is on paper. I try to make sure I write every single day pretty soon, pretty close to as soon as I get up. And the first thing I put down, if I don't put down anything else, is I surrender, right? That's been for a while. Now it's been I surrender to the life of my dreams. Now, what is surrender? It is certainly not waving the white flag. That's not what I'm about. I'm not an advocate for it. And I don't ever see that in my future. It's just not how I'm wired. So, what surrender is law of detachment. It is you can only control what you can control. What is 100% in your control? Your effort and your intensity. right? And that is a lot of different things. And I've really evolved with that, right? Your effort and your intensity is just like doing your best every single day, right? However, your best is going to be different every single day. And one way you can participate in that is what determines how good your best is going to be tomorrow. How well did you sleep, right? Did you go to bed early? Did you get a good sleep? How hydrated are you, right? Because all these things affect brain function, which in turn affects bodily function, your energy levels, right? How good was your exercises, right? How are your relationships? How's your mental? How's your nutrition? Did you eat earlier? Did you eat a late meal? Did you eat nutritious meal? Did you eat crap? Right. So that all plays into how much effort and intensity you can put into any given day. And so I take that very seriously. And again, you can control your effort and intensity, but you can't control outcomes, right? And so that's what I've really been focusing on is my effort, my intensity, improving every single day, getting just really my energy level means a lot to me, right? So I'm gonna do the same thing whether I want to or not, whether my energy is high or not, but how I feel through it is dependent on my energy level. So am I going to make this an enjoyable process or am I going to make this suffering? And then when you get up early and you exhaust yourself and you work out hard and you spend the day using your focus, you're tired early. So it's easy to go to bed and stay on that cycle. You stack good days on top of each other, and then your life is different than if you're eating crap and you're going to bed late and you're waking up late, right? It's just a completely different lifestyle. And yeah, I'm a big advocate for it, and I'm constantly improving and constantly looking for the next best version of myself and how I can participate in that unfolding. And one thing I did, right? So there's a lot of different areas of life, right? So there's, relationships with other people, your relationship with yourself, your fitness, exercise, right? Money, just all those things are energy, right? Your nutrition, there's a lot of different areas of life. And I try and take my centeredness, I try and take me with me everywhere I go, right? So what does that mean? That means presence and awareness and not living in the monkey mind or the ego mind, right? Not living in the story, not living in a narrative, living in the here and the now. And breathing is a huge part of that. So one thing I did yesterday was I saw an opportunity, right? I watch the market every single day, multiple times a day, always consciously. I never just happen to look at it by accident, right? I make it so that way I have to look at it in a certain way. And yesterday I saw Amazon's down. First time in a long time. Um, I've talked about it before in one of my first podcasts, what I'm doing with day trading and how I look at it, how I approach it, my philosophy of it, my entry and exit points, right? I always have that down before I go into it. And Amazon, I had made a couple $1,000s on Amazon sales a couple months ago when things were a little bit different. Things were fluctuating in a different way. And when I made some money by getting out, Amazon continued to flourish and continue to go up, which, is part of the game. Things happen and you really can't project them. right? You can look at all the projections, you could have your own understanding of it, your own idea, but it's not projectable. It is something that is dependent on many different things, right? So you can control your effort and your intensity, but you can't control the outcome. So the outcome ended up being that Amazon shot through the roof. And while I made profit, I did not make as much as I could have if I would have held. Okay. I was not pressed about that at all because I know Amazon's going to come down. Or I felt like it was. You don't know anything. But Amazon came down. When Amazon came down yesterday, while the markets were closed, I decided I was going to take all of the money that I have that is not currently invested and put it in Amazon. And really, because Amazon is safe, it's not going anywhere. And it's not going to dip. It's not going to dip more than it did, right? It didn't dip that much, but it dipped in a way that it kind of made sense as an entry point, especially compared to what I'm looking at for the exit strategy, right? The exit strategy is just Amazon was at 144 4 days ago per share. And then yesterday it dipped down, or on Friday it dipped down to 128. Okay. So depending on how many shares you buy, that depends on that is directly, the growth potential is directly attributed to how many shares you buy. And what's your exit point, right? So now I'm looking at, well, it's going to easily go up to 135 for sure. Maybe today. It's already back at 131. Maybe even 132. It very easily can get up to 135. It very easily can get up to 140. Maybe today. Maybe this week it gets up to 145. Maybe it gets up to 150. Maybe it's even more than that. Very easily. Could be much more. And I'm not trying to make tens of thousands of dollars on this, right? I'm just trying to make thousands of dollars. So when it makes the money that I'm trying to make, I'm going to get out and I'm going to move on with my life, right? I'm going to wait for Amazon to dip again. And the same way I'm waiting for Tesla and Google to dip. The same way I'm surveying many different stocks that I'm interested in, but it really is less than 20 for sure. So yeah, that was exciting. I woke up this morning like Christmas morning, because you don't know if what you did worked, and you don't know how well it worked, right? So I woke up feeling like this worked. How well did it work? And automatically I see that it worked. And now I'm waiting for it to work even better. So that's where I'm at with that. Really looked at that like first thing this morning. And then right out, got to my morning routine. Up the pull-ups, up the chin-ups, up the knees to bar, up the knee raises, up the hanging. I'm really looking to be more creative with it and also increase the difficulty level. So for me, that really means increasing sets and reps on those exercises and increasing the amount of time that I hang, increasing the positions that I hang, doing better form. That's something I really focused on today. Changing the exercise completely where it's creating distance between your hand and your chest. So that way it becomes more of a back exercise, and changing the angle from going straight up and straight down to chest up. So your chest is going to the sky. That is a much higher level of difficulty, and then lowering down very slowly. So those all are just recruiting a lot more muscle fiber than if you just kind of did it naturally, robotically, because your body's going to choose the path of least resistance which means it's going to do the easiest thing possible, which means it's going to recruit the least amount of muscle fibers possible, which means you're going to be in a semi, if not fully compromised position, right? To show pull-ups, chin-ups, not supposed to be just a shoulder exercise, right? It's supposed to be a back exercise, lat exercise, bicep exercise, tricep exercise, really kind of all of the above. And also you can get your core in there too. You can get your core engaged. You can, do it like you're doing an ab isolation, or like you're pulling your navel in as deep as you can and holding, and then doing your exercise. That's really how you're supposed to do all exercises. First, core engagement and hold throughout. So then after that, took some swings, did some jogging, did some reading, did some push-ups, planks, crunches, journaling, meditation, got in the ocean. I'm on dolphin time right now. These dolphins are out, and they're out early. 7 a.m. These dolphins are going crazy. So that's fun. That's cool. I definitely had my head on a swivel today. Not trying to get carried out by no dolphin. So that being said, I'm attracting a lot of attention because I started swimming, and I'm now working on my sprinting in the ocean, right? Really trying to see how far I can go. My breathing is very subpar. I'm still learning and doing a lot of different swimming techniques, and then just trying to see how fast I can go, how long I can go as fast as I can go. And with that, my breathing is all fucked up because when I sprint in the water, I don't breathe. I just swim as fast as I can, as far as I can. And normally that's about from one side of a giant pool to the other. And, then maybe if I'm going back, come up, take a breath, and then go back. I'm very good at holding my breath. And what I found is actually swimming feels like more of a leg exercise than running does. So that's been very interesting. And yeah, so let's get into the electric plan a little bit. Let's see what we haven't talked about. I think last time we definitely talked about getting sunlight in your eyes in the first 10 minutes of waking for wakeful hormonal secretion. The stats are out that sleeping for 8+ hours is what you actually should be doing for maximum benefit of sleep. Right? You can break that into 1.5-hour cycles throughout the day. You can add meditations in where meditation is actually better than sleep. You can take naps throughout the day in order to try and equate that number. Fasting for 16 to 24 hours a day, we talked about that. I feel so much better when I have fasted for more than 20 hours. It's just completely, I'm a completely different person. Eating really takes away a lot of my motivation. And I think that makes perfect sense evolutionarily, right? We were designed to get food. So once we eat, we feel good, right? I don't really feel good. I feel like I associate that feeling of eating and being done with eating as like, it's like a huge box of my humanity is checked, right? And I feel like a lot less driven after I have eaten. So I love to workout. I love to do any kind of deep thinking, any kind of meditation, stretching, anything really on a fasted stomach. And I love to eat, don't get me wrong. So also the food tastes better after you haven't, after you've abstained from eating for a long period of time. And yeah, so it's been a lifestyle change for me where I know 20 plus hours of fasting, even 25 hours plus of fasting really is where I feel my best. I've gone 40 hours, 45 hours plus of fasting and feel really good. Feel really good at that time where it's like my body has gotten a reset. It's cleared out. It's ready for nutrients. It's not hungry. You know, like we talked about, hunger is really a fleeting feeling, and something that it's not a constant progression, right? You're hungry at 9 a.m., then you feel a little hunger pain at 12, then maybe you feel a little hunger pain at 8 p.m. But once this is a lifestyle and you've been doing this for a long time, you're training your body. So your body knows what's going on, and it lessens the hunger pains, and it lessens the severity of the hunger pains, and it lessens the frequency of the hunger pains. So it really does change your relationship with food. And then these things, meditation, yoga, Tai Chi, they really change your relationship with yourself. It can change the relationship you have with your engagement with your mind, your thoughts. And I put talk therapy in there also. And with that, yes, it would be great if you talk to a psychologist or a therapist or whatever, a counselor. But I don't even necessarily mean that, right? Talking to your friend would be great. Talking to a family member is great. But even just talking to yourself, right? Get your phone, hit record, and either look at yourself and talk or lay down and have a counseling session with yourself. Getting all the thoughts out of your head, right? If you don't want to write, or maybe really you should write and also do the video also. You want to get all the thoughts out of your head down on paper so you can see what you're thinking. You can listen to yourself back, listen to what you're thinking or not. You can write stuff down, never look at it again, make a video, never look at it again. But it's important to create space for new thoughts. If you're just recycling the old thoughts that you have every single day, then you're living inside your ego. And the ego is suffering. There's no way to avoid suffering in the ego. It brings you into as small of a world as it can possibly get you into, because the ego is designed to keep you safe. And in order to keep you safe, it has to keep you contained, quite literally. And the ego wants you to be in the same place you were yesterday. It wants you to be in the same environment. It wants you to be indoors. It wants you to be safe, right? That's what it's focused on. And it's not really good for you, right? You can't really give into that, because the ego will have you go home, draw the blinds, close the windows, and that's not even safe enough. Go into your room, draw the blinds there, close the windows, lock the door, and then close your own door to keep you as safe as possible. And that's not valid at all. And I feel like that's the way a lot of people are living, is being run by that lack of respect for the benefits that nature has, the lack of respect, that lack of understanding that we're creatures that are supposed to be moving, and we're supposed to be outside, we're supposed to be in the natural elements. All right, indoors is new. This is brand new. And now people go from one indoor spot to the next, And in between that, they're inside their cars. So I think that's a huge reason why people are having so many mental health crises. And I think the simplest thing we can do is understand that our ego is running us, and the ego doesn't always have your best interest in mind, right? It has your safety in mind. And don't get me wrong, that's extremely important. But it's not always the most important thing. With You can live the safest life ever, and you can be very dissatisfied because it's not truly living. So again, that's right. I could keep myself from going in the ocean every day because one of my biggest fears is sharks. I could keep myself out of going in the ocean because everybody tells me how dangerous it is. But in reality, when I'm in there and the effects that I have afterwards, the tremendously positive effects, and also facing my fears. And also when I'm in there, I think, right now I'm swimming side to side about 6, 7 feet deep. And I know that I can swim into oblivion. And I want to do that. And I want to face my fears in that way because I know behind those fears is the next level of myself. So yeah, I leave you with that. I'll leave you with the things that we've covered today. I hope that some of these things have given you a little extra energy for your everyday, things such as cold showers, right? Can't focus on that enough. Or if jumping in the cold ocean is your thing. Um, I hope that you're able to integrate some of these things that we've talked about, and really appreciate you for listening. So please like, comment, subscribe, and talk soon. Peace.